Church, I'm sitting here with Danielle Coop, the Executive Director of the Lethbridge Pregnancy Care Center. The month of May, we are entitling this month Basic for Babies because we were coming alongside and learning about what's happening at the Lethbridge Pregnancy Care Center. So, Danny, why don't you tell me, for those who don't know, what and why does the Lethbridge Pregnancy Care Center exist?
Awesome, I'd love to. So the Lethbridge Pregnancy Care Center is actually a Christian agency here in town, and we support anyone experiencing unexpected pregnancy as well as pregnancy-related losses. And we do also offer programs on healthy relationships, which is something I really am enjoying this year as well.
Love that. We're going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
But Danielle, this month we're collecting some items for you. We're collecting wipes and baby formula.
Right.
Why are these so important, or why is this such a need right now?
Yeah, I love that. Thanks, Luke. So this year especially, but every year, we've seen a huge growing need for formula. And if you have had young infants in your home recently, and especially if they've been on formula, you know it's very expensive and sometimes actually really hard to find. So oftentimes we'll go to stores and the shelves are quite low. Well, we're seeing that reflected at the center, and our shelves for formula have been low every month. We probably go through over 40 canisters a month easily, probably more.
Wow.
And you're talking about $50 a canister, you know, depending on the formula. So it's a huge expense to parents. I had one client who shared with me her infant formula was costing $500 a month. So here's a young, we're talking 17-year-old girl, next to no income, no family supports, and needing food for her baby. So that's huge. And wipes might seem really random, but again, if you've had a baby, you know the value of wipes in your home and in your diaper bag. And for some reason, those two this year have just not been donated as often. So we're seeing that run out quite frequently as well. So we love that you guys are coming alongside and helping us to provide those basic necessities for the mothers and babies that we serve.
Love it, Danielle. Church, we've been supporting Lethbridge Pregnancy Care Center for a good chunk of time. We financially support them. The offering that you give to Eat Free, some of that donation goes to support the work of Lethbridge Preg Center. Danny, we were talking a little bit about, of course, you know, unexpected pregnancy. That is a big part of LPCC. Right?
Yeah, you betcha, you got it.
But let's talk about some of this preventative stuff that you've been doing a little bit. What have you been this year to kind of get you excited, going to high schools and talking about things? Tell us a little more about that. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Luke. So, like you mentioned, a big part of what we do is meet with people who are experiencing unexpected pregnancies. And sometimes we think of that as these young people, like the students we might see at the high school.
Right.
But sometimes it's also, you know, we've got 50-year-olds coming in, ready for retirement or becoming empty nesters and realizing they're expecting. So that range is quite broad, but one of the preventative pieces we get to do is speaking in our high schools. Some of the local high schools have invited us in, and so whether it's with, like, for example, CCH, we're joining them as part of their religion class and coming to talk to their students about healthy relationships. What does that look like? How do you form one? What are the foundations of that? And this is one of my favorite things. Maybe it's the lifeguard in me. I used to lifeguard many moons ago. But I just think, like, yes, I want to serve someone who's experiencing crisis and come alongside them. But if we can prevent them from needing us in the first place, even better. So we get to go in and we're talking to students about, it falls in line with their curriculum. So we're talking about choices. What are choices that we get to make in life? And you know, some choices we make, like what shirt to wear today, probably isn't gonna change the trajectory of my life 5 years from now, but some choices are. And so what choices are we making in relationships? Do they align with our goals for life, right? So if I wanna be a doctor, and I want to go to secondary schooling, what choices am I making now in both friendships and romantic relationships that help support me getting to those goals, right? So we're talking about choices, we're talking about boundaries, and just a lot of these pieces around what builds a strong, healthy foundation.
I had the privilege of going to the Pregnancy Care Center Gala, and one of the teachers was sharing her experience about these conversations that you're having and how much she saw the value of you coming in and sharing and having that conversation with students, and how she's excited to have you back. So I just think that's a great opportunity for you. Yeah. And like you say, we often spend so much time in crisis when it's always easier to prevent a crisis than it is to pull ourselves out of a crisis. So,
Absolutely, and yeah, in doing so, preventing the trauma and everything related to those situations as well. So, and I mentioned CCH, but even this year, actually, we had some new opportunities that I thought was really neat, and actually with other agencies in town. So, for example, Quest Support Services had us out to
Nice.
speak with their adult clients
Okay.
and share with them about healthy relationships. And we thought that was a really neat opportunity, as well as one of the Indigenous Reserve clinics actually invited us to come and speak with some of their young couples who were about to introduce a new baby into their homes. And we're saying, what changes when a new baby comes home? How do we, as a couple, continue to build healthy relationship together with the addition of this new little one? So there's been some really neat new opportunities for us to speak into that conversation here in Lethbridge. Yeah.
always love hearing this story. Want to hear it again. Tell us about your first client.
Oh man, Luke. Yeah, I'd love to. So, of course, everything we do at the center is confidential, so I'll leave out name and identifying details.
Yeah.
But my first client, of course, I was so nervous, and she was coming in for options information, so wanted to know more about her options in an unexpected pregnancy. And when she walked in the door, my first thought was like, oh, they booked the appointment wrong. Because she walked in carrying a baby carrier with like a tiny little baby in it. And as we sat down and started to talk more, I realized no, in fact, she had this little 4-month-old baby. She herself was not yet an adult, okay, so young gal, and she was pregnant again. And as her story unraveled, there was these pieces of her mom had passed away when she was quite young. Her dad wasn't really a hands-on parent. So she dropped out of school. She had none of these preventative pieces where people are talking to students in high school about, not us, but others, about contraception and prevention. She didn't have those pieces. And so she got into a relationship with somebody who seemed to care about her. And here she was now expecting her second child and overwhelmed. She dealt with postpartum depression after her first. She'd hemorrhaged so badly with her first that she really feared that she would die if she were to carry the second pregnancy to term. So she came in with little to no support and fearing for her own life, much less the life of the child she already had. And so she came in looking for those options. The whirlwind from going to this is going to be an options client to, oh, maybe it's just like material supports that she needs, to being like, oh no, this is options and it's dire. Like, this situation really does seem almost impossible. As we journeyed, she ended up deciding to carry the pregnancy to term. And when baby was born, it was during the pandemic, so she was texting me through her delivery because I couldn't be there with her. And after baby was born, she just messaged and said, Danielle, she said, thank you so much for being there for me when nobody else believed in me. And I just thought, to me, it just broke my heart to think how many young women are there out there that feel like there's nobody who believes in them, that they can do this. And so this was a few years ago. She's got these 2 beautiful little girls. They were homeless at the time as well, just to add to it. They are now housed, and she's doing just an excellent job with these 2 girls, pushing and striving for their best. And she's dreaming of going back to school and finishing her high school degree. So, yeah.
I love that story, Daddy. That is the heart of Lethbridge Pregnancy Care Center, right there. Well, thank you, Danielle. Our church loves the Lethbridge Pregnancy Care Center. We love the work that you're doing, and it's going to be fun this month to join in with what's happening. And church, let's step up our game. Let's bring that formula in, bring that wipes in, show LPCC that we love and care about their ministry.
Perfect. Thanks so much for having us and for doing this with us. We can't do it without churches and our community, like each and every one of you, coming alongside and supporting the work that we do. So thanks.